IPMNation.com.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good evening once again, and let me be the first to welcome you here to, what are we? Well, this is the 413th episode of the #1 rated show. Just check with Matt to make sure, right? Because it would be fair to say #1 to IPMNation.com. And then also multicast live on Facebook and YouTube. Also sending it over to allnaturalbeing.com, a.k.a. mortalup.com, as you know by now. And on our Brian Brawdy app as well, with rebroadcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube. Noah and Wayne, probably Twitter. He'll get a rebroadcast up on Twitter. Greetings wherever you are, here in the Garden of Mortals, the labyrinth of life itself. The ups and downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swerves, the flukes, the whims, the sheer havoc and synchronicity of it all. Blind alleys and cul-de-sacs, of course there are, but never a dead end, right? Not unless you and I decide to tap out. Never a dead end. We're always putting your heart's highest priority, top of the list. Quick. You want to say hello real quickly? Hi, everybody. We're always talking about the true wit and wisdom, and I dare say wallop of your inner whisper, because we're here to out-brutal the brutal. That is the cut and shuffle that fate can deal you on a daily basis, and to, what's it say right there? Bring your own bold, once and for all. But before we hit it this evening, a quick hello to my friends. Who do you got with you here?
Zoomy.
This is Zoomy. Okay, a quick hello from us and Zoomy to our friends joining us from all over the globe. See, there's Zoomy waving. Thank you very much. It's great to have you with us, and I truly am fired up to be driving your bandwagon, to be avidly you, as always, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes, very good. To be your virtual hitchhiker if you're out and about and on the go. I love riding shotgun, always have. So what do you say? Here's your opportunity to mortal up, to crush your cant and your critics, to demand your mind's eye and your true potential be wide open. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. You want to wave to everyone here before you get ready to bounce out? Okay, what do you want to say? Say good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, thank you for stopping. Now, you can grab a seat right over there in that chair if you want, over on the other side. Thank you once again. There's a room for you to sit there, buddy. There you go. All right, so we have an executive producer is in studio with us tonight, so that always makes things go very smoothly. Welcome, and thank you for joining us at this edition of All Natural Being. Oh, the camera's not down there, buddy. You can come back up here when you want Zoomy to wave, all right? Thank you so very much for joining us. We've got a big show tonight, including Derek Noel from Derek Noel Fitness is with us. So we'll be able to talk to him here in just a little bit, catch up on some of the things he's doing, and give him a little bit of progress report, excuse me, of what we're doing, how that's all working out. Before we get into that, my special thanks to Matt Connerton to hanging out earlier this evening for Sneak Speak, where we get to go over everything going on IPM Nation. And we talk a little bit about this, but we talk about Matt's show. We talk about all the other shows that are on the platform. So this evening, I wanted to make mention of the fact, because we posted this just a little bit earlier, and we're working on everything we have to do to be able to go to a morning show, how all that's going to work. We're working on all of that. But more importantly, as we figure out the best way to communicate some of our messages, going back to the concept of the early morning meme, we have identified, like, we'll do something here on Facebook, obviously on YouTube and Twitter, send a meme out to Instagram. And what we're talking about today in it, what got the biggest bang, if you will, is that when it comes to searching for the ultimate culprit, when it comes to trying to identify that entity, that whatever you want to call it, but that thing that holds us back from putting our heart's highest priority top of the list, you and I have to admit it's us, right? That's all we can really say is that it's us. So that instead of identifying all the other people that are responsible for us being unhappy, as soon as we admit that, well, hey, it's me, it's us, then we're in a much better stead. We're in a much better way to be able to confront whatever the chop block of fate is going to be, right? Because you go, hey, I just got to deal with myself. I know it's a very stoic philosophy, right? But I have to get to the point where I go, nope, I know exactly what's going on, and what am I going to do to make sure that I'm able, that's why we call it counterpunch media, that I'm able to bring the counterpunch full on. So let me, 413 or 413. Let me say hello to Candace. Hello to Wayne. Thank you so very much. And Matt, thank you for joining us. I was thinking the blue would look cool in orange. Okay. Candace, hi, little guy. Candace says hello, Blyden. Thank you very much. And again, thank you for Blyden for make that quick little run into the studio. All right, let's go ahead and jump to this. I want to get to him so we're not kind of just leaving him hanging, although he's probably very comfortable hanging. If I know him, if he's hanging, it's on a pull-up bar. He's got some kind of bar there. Good evening, my good friend Derek from Derek Noel Fitness. How is everything going?
Everything is going so well.
Oh, very cool.
I have a prop today. Props are always fun.
Props are good. What do you got as a prop? Are you checking the water levels there? Is the river up? Is it? Checking to see how far over flood stage the local river is? No, pole vaulting. You're going to pole vault.
A little too close for comfort with that whole flooding.
Yeah. Little too soon? A little too soon is what you're saying. That joke's a little too soon? All right. Fair enough. It wouldn't be the first time I've been accused of that. I tried to get my mother-in-law hooked up on Senior Mingle like 48 hours after her husband died. Yeah, exactly. That was the look everyone had on their face in the room. She laughed. She thought it was hysterical, but everyone else was like, yeah, Brian, a little soon. Too soon, maybe. A little soon for that joke. All right, so Derek from Damn Near Flawless is how I like to think of DNF, but Derek Noel Fitness. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well.
Let's talk about the prop this evening. What do you got there? A piece of PVC pipe? Oh, you're going to do a didgeridoo. Oh, blow darts. No?
Blow dart would be nice.
Wooden blow darts would be a great thing. Yeah. Oh, got him. Nailed him. Well, what we have to do if it's going to be blow darts, we got to set up some milk bottles. You know what I mean, brother? Set up some milk bottles so that we can watch you hit them. Right? You got to have something to knock down. But all right. So what's the prop for this evening?
I was actually going to take a second to talk about shoulder health.
Shoulder health. Oh, I like that. Okay, let's do that, please.
So this is going to disappear for a second.
Okay.
So
can I tell you what can I do? Tell you quickly what I do for shoulder health?
What do you do?
I have 2 hooks, like you hang a bicycle. Mm-hmm. I have 2 hooks right before I start the rotation, and I hang here, just like my pull-up bar, right? And I hang here with these bicycle hooks above me, and then I'm able to walk forward into them and get my shoulders just about as hard as I can do it. But I'm sure you have a better angle, so why don't you take it away?
So a lot of times when people are sitting around and they're not doing too much, they start to lose a lot of mobility in their shoulders.
Okay.
Your shoulder is one of those joints, it's a ball and socket joint that should be able to move a full 360 degrees around.
Great.
A lot of people get here and then in order to get their arm to raise up any higher,
okay,
leaning back.
All right.
So I've literally seen someone do a shoulder press before where they're leaning back like this because they can't get their shoulder.
Wow.
So a really nice test for everyone to do to see what that's like is to keep your chest down.
Right.
And then just start raising your arm up to see how high you can go.
Right.
Before you start arching.
Arching back. Right. Well, that's what I love about the hooks that I have here in the studio is that at least it lets me know that I can get my arms to 12 o'clock, right? Another thing that I have that I like to use, sledgehammer. And you know why I use a sledge? I mean, I'll be using a piece of PVC pipe now that you mentioned it, but you know why I like to use a sledgehammer?
Because you like to hit things.
Now, don't out me for being the... yes, in addition to... In addition to liking to hit things, as you say, absolutely, a little truth in advertising, right? But I'm able to do shoulder circles with this, Derek. So if I'm busy doing shoulder circles, then I know that I'm getting the full range of motion. And if I want to cheat a little, because I got to keep my back, my chest, and my spine straight. If I cheat a little, the weight, if you will, of the sledgehammer allows my muscles to be pulled a little farther out of their comfort zone and a little more into their natural range of motion. But that's just for me. Go ahead, take it away, sir.
So, PVC pipe. We've determined, because like I said, I have had people that can only get their arm up here before
Right.
they leave. And then same deal going out and over.
All right.
So if I take this PVC pipe,
All right.
and I'm trying to be centered on this camera.
All right. Watch the microphone.
Yeah, let's hope I don't hit anything. So I'm going to start really wide. I'm just going to pass through.
Oh, that's great.
And I just go nice and slow. I can do a couple of rounds. And then slowly I could just choke up on this PVC pipe.
All right.
And see how this is going.
How far you can get in. Do you ever mark the PVC pipes? I need to see you have a piece of tape or it's discolored somehow there. So that goes at your navel, right in the center. And then do you have it marked in such a way that you can show that you're getting progress, like as you move in, or you just like, just move in and don't worry about the progress?
To be honest, the only markings are the things that the manufacturer did. Like that's the barcode.
Okay.
It's just
yeah, but it was perfect because it lines right up with your navel. So what we're getting, let me just say hi quickly here in the thread. Good evening to Lee. Lee, I used the Emperor line earlier with Matt. Thank you very much. Jenny, good evening. Candace, good evening. Alex, thank you for joining us. Wayne says, Derek's volume is very low. Not from my end. The board is pegged all the way it can go. So, you know what would be cool, Derek? If only we had a Cracker Jack audio staff on site right where you are. That could probably clear the volume issue up, I'm thinking. All right, brother, get back to it.
Anyways.
All right, exactly. You got to ride home with them. You can't respond to that, right? You can't even let them know I said it.
Sideways.
Nope.
Bringing myself up and around.
All right.
And then I'm just inching myself forward. Because perfect mobility, you want to be able to have your arms straight and be able to go down.
Wow.
Even I, not even close.
Even you, Superman, can't do it. Okay. Wow.
But if I can get here, then it starts
tweaking. You can feel it a little bit. Sure. All right.
And it's a really nice stretch back here for your chest. So
okay.
Both your pecs, your shoulders, your biceps, because this is actually the most stretched your biceps can possibly be.
Very nice.
It helps to break down some scar tissue that builds up in that shoulder cavity.
So talk to me again about synovial fluid, because we talk about that. You and I have spoken about that before. Isn't that the fluid that's in that ball and socket joint? And as you increase the range of motion, what are you doing? Losing the scar tissue so that more or the right amount, or does that play into it at all?
It's going to be more of the right amount.
The right amount, okay.
So if you have issues with that, sometimes something called an impingement can happen.
Okay.
Which basically it gets caught and then it has to go out and around.
Okay.
So by doing these things, breaking up that scar tissue, you help reducing the impingements that might happen.
Oh, great.
Now, where you might run into, I should say, a couple difficulties is if you've had a rotator cuff injury before or something like that, where it's going to be more up to a physical therapist to help you out with increasing the range of motion.
Okay.
Do that, especially if you have a torn rotator cuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I would imagine then that's going to be something to watch out for. But like you say all the time, hey, make sure that you speak to a doctor, make sure that you talk to someone to make certain, that you're getting the right advice and this and that. So that would be a good time to talk to a doctor, I would think.
Yes.
Okay, so now is that something you do before your workout, after your workout? Do you like the idea of getting a little bit of blood flowing before you do it? And thank you, Lee, very much for the text. We've got Derek's volume pegged here to the roof. So there must be something in the internet, I would guess, but his volume is as high as it can go. All right, can you use, Candace asked a very great question. Can you use a broom, or does it have to be a certain weight?
You can use a broom. You can use a towel. If you have one of these resistance bands, you can use resistance bands.
Okay. Oh, what is that? What was it from Adam's Family? You're too young to remember, but remember with the hand that would come out of the box and move things around.
Oh, Thing?
Yeah, was it Thing? There you go. Did I just see the Thing move their microphone closer to you?
Kind of, yeah.
The Thing. Oh, be that were it true. All right, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, you know what? Can I just add something because Candace had mentioned? I have a couple of 3-pound ball peen hammers, right? And sometimes I'll do arm circles, Derek, with the ball peen hammers just to help get the weight, right? Just the force of that ball peen hammer. And I start out to where, I'm doing smaller arm circles, but then I'm able, almost like swimming, almost like an American crawl, to do a full arm circle. So I think you would think broom handles will work. Maybe like a 5-pound plate, if you can't find it, the exercise bands as you talk about. Could we take a 5-pound plate, almost like miniature kettlebells, put our fingers in the holes, and then do the same thing to get some of that rotation going?
Yes, I don't think it would be as effective, though, because having this pipe keeps you in line, and a lot of people are not symmetrical.
Oh, good point.
Symmetrical people aren't symmetrical beings. So there's going to be an imbalance of shoulder to shoulder.
Right.
Having this pipe or a broom handle or a towel is going to limit your ability to be able to go up one way because
good point.
Is to match.
Right. Good point. And there might be some people listening, Derek, would you say, that they put their back flat up against a wall. They may not even be able to get to 12 o'clock when they first start.
True.
Right? So you could use the wall to kind of brace your shoulders and your butt to make sure you're not trying to lean into it. So that would give you like the perfect range of motion to start with. I mean, depending upon your fitness level, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Really nice beginner exercise, though, because you can literally start as light as you want. So
sure.
I even like using the lightest band. So this has almost no tension out here, but it's just enough so that if I get to this point and I go, so I'll do that really narrow one, for example.
Right.
So I'm going for this really narrow one. With a pipe, I can't do this, but the band will stretch around.
Right.
So the same thing can happen with the towel, too.
Okay. Now, is there any other place in the body where you could do that type? No, I mean, not with maybe with a PVC pipe, but what are some other types of the body, or are there any that have the same type of joint, or ball and socket, I should say, where you could do a range of motion exercise that would just be great for your overall health? Hips, okay. What would be something similar that we could do with the hips, brother?
Literally, let's see. If Magical Cameraman could help out for a second.
Yes. Cousin Thing.
Cousin Thing. So we're going to pan this way.
All right, good.
Follow me through.
All right.
So if I grab onto something, I can start here.
Okay.
Swing my leg back and forth.
Okay.
And then once I'm up there, I can swing side to side. Or I can just draw circles. And if I make it very sure to keep myself super stable when I make circles, that's going to make a workout all on its own. You're going to feel that from everything from your flexor all the way through your body.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. And that just got to put you in a good mood, I would think, right? I mean, what a great early morning exercise just to get the blood flowing and the synovial fluid flowing. I think that'd be a great exercise to start your day.
Plus, just channel Shakira, hips don't lie.
I'm sorry, say again, brother?
Channel Shakira, your hips don't lie.
Right. All right. What else are we going to focus on this evening? We've only got a couple minutes left, but what else did you bring us in your bag of tricks? What can you help? And everyone might not be a world-class athlete, but what did you bring for us? What can you say to other folks if they're just like, hey, I want to be able to work. I want to learn something new each time I come here on a Sunday night. What else do you have for us this evening?
Basically, for those people, just start.
Just start, right?
Literally, start out by going to whatever gym it is and signing up.
Okay.
You don't even have to spend any time to walk in. Spend 5 minutes walking around on your first day and then leave. Because now you're committed to doing something.
Sure.
And then from there, you can expand out and step up onto that treadmill, whatever you want to be doing. Then you can ease yourself into it.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. I like the way that sounds. And it's just like, what do they say? It's Baby Steps was that movie with Richard Dreyfuss. Or that maybe that was his name of the book, Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray, where he said just increments, little, we call them 20-minute victories here on the show. But if you get up, people say, well, how many push-ups should you do a day? Well, if you haven't done push-ups in a while, do one.
Mm-hmm.
Just have the habit at the end of the week. You've got 7 straight days where you got out of bed and the first thing you did was a push-up. Then the following week, you add 2. Following week, and then you're going to find that as you start to do them, you go, where did 7 come from? I just nailed 7 push-ups. I was only supposed to be on 4 this week, right? So to your point, just do something a little bit and then give yourself credit for it, I would imagine.
Yep. It's those little victories that build up to a very big thing.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, brother. Well, we're going to get ready to let you get out of here. Is there anything else this evening in terms of wisdom that you want to impart before we let you go and start breaking down there? How's everything else going with you? Oh, and give us an idea. How can people get a hold of you? How do people know to exactly what they're going to do to be able to keep in touch with you? And tell me the name of the gym again. And if there's a Facebook link to that gym, or, let's throw them some love as well for letting you come in and use the gym late on a Sunday night. So take it away.
So you can reach me at DerekNoelFitness.com, on Facebook at the Derek Noel, and also on Instagram at the Derek Noel. Instagram is I'm the most active on, so you can always follow that stuff there. But that's also because a lot of what I do deals with visual.
Sure. Very cool. All right, my friend. Well, thank you so very much. I know you were jumping through some hurdles this evening with the new microphone and everything else, but thank you for that. Thank you for the advice. And I'm looking at a couple different pieces of PVC pipe, and I'm like, now I know exactly what I'll do with them. They'll become a part of my early morning workout. So, D, thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Noel from Derek Noel Fitness, just a really smart, young, strong, athletic guy. So we love having him come in on Sunday nights. We're talking very, very shortly. He'll be having his own show as well. So we're excited about what it's going to take to be able to announce that before too long. But Derek will be, as I say, he'll have his own show, and that should be something that, I know I'm looking forward to it, because it'll be something where you can go, oh, maybe I could email in a question, or there's something else that I'll be able to do and say, now I've got somebody that can, right there, be able to answer your question right off the bat. All right, so in the closing minutes this evening, we want to talk a little bit about our 81 to win. We know that's coming up, and so we're excited about that. We've got a little over 100 days left, got some other guests that are lining up for that, so we're pretty excited there. And again, as always, if there are any suggestions, anything that you say, oh, well, you know what? It would be really cool if you could do this, be really cool if you could do that. We would love to be able to incorporate that into what we're doing. So if you get a chance to give us drop us a line or put something in Twitter and go, okay, great, here's something we think that you should be focusing on, that would be great. We'll go ahead and put it right into our world record attempt. And as I say all the time, we really are looking forward to that. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be something that it's absolutely going to be a challenge. It's one of the reasons why we brought Derek Noel on, to be able to show us and to be able to say, hey, look, here's what's going on. Here's what you need to do to prepare. Here's what you need to do to survive this attempt. So my doctors were thrilled that Derek Noel from Derek Noel Fitness has come on board to be able to give us a little bit of advice about what we can do in moving forward. All right, so also this evening, let's get back to what we were talking about. I wanted to go ahead and bring Derek in as quickly as we could, but let's also talk a bit about how you and I can be at times our own worst enemy, right? Because remember that we don't work for our minds work for us. And if we invert that relationship, believe me, the mind, like Alexander Haig, remember, good golly, who was it? President Reagan was shot. And if I remember, the vice president was in the air, and Alexander Haig holds that press conference and says, don't worry, I'm in control until the vice president lands. Right? You remember that? You may not be old enough, but you should look up Alexander Haig's 15 Seconds of Fame. But your mind is just like that. If you surrender control to your mind's like, whoa, I'm in charge now. This will be great. And that's where binge thinking comes. I think the Buddhists call it the monkey mind. That's where that comes from. So in order to install the normal relationship, let me say good evening to Kelly. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us here at All Natural Being. Matt, it's nice to say your emperor is pleased to see you. Thank you for that, Matt, very much. Super appreciate you stopping by. We were just talking here about the importance of realizing that your mind works for you. You don't work for it. And therefore, the chemicals secreted whenever you want to be excited, whenever you want to be afraid, whenever you want to be timid, whenever you want to be happy for that matter, the chemicals work for you. You don't work for them. So we say, oh, the fight or flight. You're still in charge of those chemicals. Oh, the fight or flight. You're still in charge of your mind and how it works, how it operates. So when we talk all the time about Mortal Up, one of the benefits, and again, when we talk about crush your can't, right, is because to be able to say, I can't, or I won't, it's a crime of mind. People talk all the time about crimes against humanity. How about the crime against yourself of believing all the mashugana that your mind can offer up? I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not flexible enough. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not articulate enough. Blah, 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 blah. That's your mind going, hey, I'm in control until the vice president's plane lands, right? Because that's what minds do. What do minds do? They're like a lab running after a Frisbee. That's what minds do. But your mind works for you. You don't work for it. So what are some of the examples that you can think of crimes of mind? What are some of the other examples where you think, yeah, that's absolutely a crime I've pulled against my own mind? I surrender to fear. Maybe procrastination. Maybe this constant want of perfection, which is really just procrastination spelled differently, right? This want of perfection, it's a crime of mind. So what do you and I have to do to not be our own criminal? If we're going to be victimized, what do we've got to do to make sure that we're not the villain subjugating ourselves to that victimization? And that's when we come back and we talk all the time about your all-natural being. We talk all the time about remembering who you ultimately are and the natural resources that you possess to be able to pull off literally anything. And that outside of that amnesia, right? Outside of that thought process where you're betting against yourself, that's another crime of mind, again, betting against yourself. But when we focus on putting our heart's priority top of the list, when we focus on gathering the fingerprints of providence, Candace says, I'm an overthinker working on that. You, Candace, you, me, and all kinds of other people that are overthinkers that go, okay, what do we got to do? And for me, whenever my mind starts in that position, Candace, of being an overthinker, I just say thank you. Whatever my mind is busy, whatever the binge thinking is, whatever the crime of mind that I'm currently the culprit of, I stop right then and go, thank you. Just thank you. For what? Doesn't matter. Just thank you. And I use that sense of gratitude as the mantra. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Sorry about the audio problems a little bit earlier with Derek, but we'll get that microphone issue worked out. Thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being. We'll be back tomorrow night, probably one of the last times we'll be doing And I mean, one of the last times we'll be doing a nighttime show, at least this week, maybe one of the very last weeks. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We will see you tomorrow night.
IPMNation.com.